Namaskar. Welcome all of you CYP Yoga Training course. Today is CYP Introduction Program Day 3. In today's session, we will introduce some new asanas along with the previous practice. Let us start Yoga Sadhana with a prayer. Sit comfortable in any posture. Now join your palms together in Namaskar Mudra. Gently close your eyes and observe your body position. Keep your back straight. Take a deep inhale. We'll chant Omkar followed by prayer. Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manansi janata deva bhagam yatha purve sangyānāna upasate sangyānāna upasate. Just be there for a few seconds. Feel the essence of the prayer. Now bring your arms back and place on your knees. Gently open your eyes. We will start with the loosening practices. For the loosening practices, please stand up at your place. Stand with the feet 2 to 3 inches apart. Keep your hands straight by the side of the body. Don't touch your palms to the thighs. Keep your shoulder relaxed. This is a samsthiti. Close your eyes and observe your whole body from heel to top of the head. This time your whole body weight should be on your both feet. Now gently open your eyes. We will start with neck movement. First practice forward and backward. Slowly place your palms on your hip joint. Keep your fingers forward, thumb behind. Now inhale deeply. With exhalation, bend your head forward. Try to press your chin towards your chest. While inhaling, come back to the center position. With exhale, bend backward and feel the stretch front side of your neck region. Inhale, come back to the center position. We will repeat one more time. Exhale, press your chin down. Inhale, come back. Exhale, bend your head backward as much as possible. Inhale, come back to the starting position. Next practice, right and left bending. Inhale, with exhalation, drop your head towards the right side. In a final position, feel the stretch on your left side. Inhale, come back in the center. Exhale, drop your head towards the left side so that you can bring your ear as close as to the left shoulder. Inhale, come back. We'll repeat one more time. Exhale, drop your head towards the right side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, drop your head towards the left side. Inhale, bring your head back to the starting position. Now we move towards the third practice of the neck movement, right and left twisting. Inhale in the center first. Now with exhalation, twist your neck towards the right shoulder. In a final position, make sure your chin in line with the right shoulder. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist your head towards the left shoulder. Same as this time, your chin in line with the left shoulder. Inhale, come back. We'll repeat one more time. Exhale, turn your head towards the right. Inhale, come back. Exhale, turn your neck towards the left side. Feel the stretch in your neck region. Inhale, come back to the starting position. Now last movement of the neck region, neck rotation. Inhale completely. With exhalation, again move your head forward. Try to press your chin towards your chest. With inhalation, rotate your head in a clockwise direction. Go back, feel the stretch. Now with exhalation, turn your head forward. This is a one we will repeat one more time. Inhale, go back, exhale, move your head forward. This is a complete rotation of the neck region. We'll repeat one more time. Inhale, move your head backward from the right to left shoulder. Exhale, press your chin down. In a reverse manner, inhale, rotate your head from left to backward. With exhalation, move your head right to the front. Now slowly inhale, come back to the starting position. Bring your arms back by the side of your thighs. Close your eyes and feel the impact of the neck movements. Be there with the normal breathing. Now we move towards the shoulder movement. Gently open your eyes. First, shoulder stretch. With inhalation, raise your both arms up by the side and stretch over your head. Keep your palms outside and arms parallel to each other. With exhalation, bring your arms back to the starting position. Repeat one more time. Inhale. Your movement should be along with your inhalation and exhalation. Exhale, come back. Now we move towards the shoulder rotation. Inhale, raise your arms by the side up to the shoulder level. Stretch first. Now turn your palms upward. Place your fingers on the respective shoulder. Now try to touch your elbows in front of your chest. Here we will rotate elbows or shoulder joint. With inhalation, raise your elbows up and make a circular manner. Exhale, drop your elbows down and again move forward. This is a one. Repeat one more time. Inhale, exhale, down. Now we will do in a reverse anti-clockwise. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Repeat one more time. Now stretch your elbows by the side and stretch your arms completely. Turn your palms down and bring your arms back to the starting position. Close your eyes, be there and feel the essence of the practice, shoulder movement. Now we move towards the trunk movement. Gently open your eyes and spread your legs around 2 feet apart. With inhalation, raise your both arms up, front of the body. Stretch completely first. Now slowly bend backward as much as you can. Completely stretch the body backward. With exhalation, move your body forward and try to place your palms to the ground. Stretch your back. Inhale, slowly come back and bend backward. Exhale, bend forward. Drop your head down. With inhalation, slowly come back in the center position. Now with exhalation, drop your hands down and relax. Join your feet together. Once close your eyes and feel the impact of the forward and backward movement of the trunk region. Now we will do the trunk twisting, which is mentioned in common yoga protocol. Gently open your eyes. Make a gap between your legs around shoulder length apart. Inhale, raise your both arms up to the shoulder level in front of the body. Exhale, twist your body towards the right side. Twist from the lumbosacral region. Stretch your right hand back and bend your left arm. Inhale, come back in the center. Exhale, twist your body towards the left side. Stretch and twist the body. Inhale, come back. Repeat one more time. Exhale, towards the right side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist the body towards the left side. Keep your arms at your shoulder level. Inhale, come back. Now with exhalation, bring your arms back and join your feet together. Close your eyes. Once again, feel the impact of trunk twisting. Feel the changes in your lumbosacral region. Now we will do the knee movement practice. Gently open your eyes. Once again, spread your legs comfortably apart. Inhale, raise your both arms up to the shoulder level, palm facing downward. Now with exhalation, bend your knees and come in half squatting position. In a final position, make sure your thighs parallel to the ground. Inhale, come up. We'll repeat one more time. Exhale, come in half squatting position. Inhale, come up to the starting position. Exhale, bring your arms back and feet close to each other. Again, close your eyes and here feel impact throughout the body after the practice of Sukshma Vyayam. From top of the head to toes, involvement of the four major movement of the body: neck, shoulder, trunk and knee. Prepare yourself for further practices. Yogasan. Gently open your eyes. Turn by the side. Now stand with the feet 2 inches apart, hands by the side, Samasthiti. Inhale, lift your arms up to the shoulder level. Interlock your fingers and with exhalation turn your palms out. Again inhale, stretch your both arms up. Completely stretch the body here. Make sure in this position your body should be in a one line, straight line from heel to the interlock fingers. Now focus in front. At one point, slowly raise your heels up and maintain the final position with normal breathing. Be there, feel the stretching throughout the body. Now slowly bring your heels down. Release the interlock of your fingers. Stretch your arms completely. With exhalation, bring your arms back by the side of the body. Relax. Be there for few seconds and feel the impact of Tadasana. Tadasana gives the stability in the body and it helps to correct the faulty posture. Now we will do Vrikshasana. Once again turn this side. In yesterday class we have learned the practice of Vrikshasana. Those who cannot perform the Vrikshasana proper position, they can do the simplified version of Vrikshasana. But here we will do the final posture of Vrikshasana. Now with exhalation bend your right knee and place your right foot beside the root of left thigh. Now inhale, slowly raise your both arms by the side and join together in Namaskar Mudra. Stretch your whole body up and balance here with the normal breathing. Be there. Now slowly with exhalation bring your arms back and release your right foot back to the starting position. We will repeat from the other side. Bend your left knee and place your left foot beside the root of right thigh. With inhalation raise your both arms by the side and join your palms together in Namaskar Mudra above your head region. Completely stretch, keep your elbows straight. Align your body in a one line. Maintain with the normal breathing. Now with exhalation, bring your arms back and release your left foot down. Come back to the starting position. Relax the body in Samasthiti. Close your eyes. This asana improves neuromuscular coordination and it helps in a balance, alertness and the concentration. Now we move towards the Ardha Chakrasana. Turn by the side. Now stand with the feet 2 inches apart. Now slowly place your palms on your hip joint. Again keep your fingers in front. Now keep your elbows parallel to each other and feel the expansion in the chest region. Inhale, bend your head backward. With exhalation, bend as much as possible backward. Be there with the normal breathing. This is the final position of Ardha Chakrasana. In a final position, keep your elbows parallel to each other. Now inhale, slowly come back in the center. Exhale, drop your hands down and relax for a few seconds here. Feel the impact in the lumbosacral region. Ardha Chakrasana gives a stability to the spine and strengthen the spinal nerves. Now we will do the counter pose of Ardha Chakrasana, that is Padhastasana. Again observe your standing position. Your feet should be parallel and around 2 inches apart. With inhalation raise your both arms over your head in front of the body. Stretch completely. Exhale, bend forward from the pelvic joint. Now place your palms beside your feet and stretch your back downward. As much as possible, stretch completely. Drop your head down and relax. Maintain the final position with the normal breathing. In a final position, feel the stretch in your back side of the leg region. Now inhale, stretch your arms and stretch the body. With exhalation, bring your arms back to the starting position and relax yourself in a Samasthiti. This asana makes the spine flexible and it gives the strength to calf, thigh and the waist muscles. Now, today we will introduce a new asana, that is Trikona asana. Trikona asana, by the name Trikona means a triangle and asana is a posture. In the final position, the body resembles like a triangle posture. For the Trikona asana, first we will introduce the simplified version. Those who cannot perform a final version, they can do this practice. Now, spread your legs comfortably apart. Now, inhale, raise your both arms by the side. Now, with exhalation, bend your body towards the right side as much as you can. According to your own capacity, just drop your body and feel the stretch in your waistline, left side. If you are uncomfortable in this position, you can place your right hand beside the thighs, take a support, but keep your head in center and look at front. Slowly come back to the starting position. We will repeat to the other side. Exhale, bend your body towards the left side. In a final position, feel stretch. Those who cannot do this, they can take a support with the hand. Inhale, come back. Exhale, drop your hands down. Join your feet together. Relax yourself for a moment. Now we will introduce one more simplified version of Trikona asana. Once again, spread your legs comfortably apart. Turn your right foot towards the right side. Now, spread your arms by the side at your shoulder level. Slightly bend your right knee and with exhalation, bend towards the right side and stretch your left hand over your head. Completely stretch. Feel the stretching throughout the left side. Take a support of your right hand on the knee. But in a final position, make sure your body should be equally balanced on your feet. Maintain here for a few seconds with normal breathing. Inhale, come back to the initial position. Turn your right foot back. Now we will repeat from the left side. Turn your left foot out. Bend your left knee. And with exhalation, bend your body towards the left side. Stretch your right hand completely. Be there with the normal breathing. In this position, keep your head in center and look at front. Now with inhalation, slowly come back in the center. Turn your left foot back. With exhalation, bring your arms back and feet close to each other. Again, relax yourself for a few seconds and feel the impact of simplified version of Trikona asana. Now we will introduce the proper position of Trikona asana, but you should know about some contraindication. Avoid this posture in case of slip disc, sciatica, and do not try to beyond your limit. Gently open your eyes. Once again, spread your legs comfortably apart. And in a final position, just observe your feet should be parallel to each other. Inhale, raise your both arms by the side up to the shoulder level. Now turn your right foot towards the right side. Exhale, bend your body towards the right side and place your right hand behind the right foot, and left hand should be in line with the right hand. In a final position, slowly turn your neck and look at your middle finger of your left hand. Be there with the normal breathing. This is the final position of Trikona asana. Now slowly with inhalation come back, turn your right foot back. We will repeat from the left side, turn your left foot at 90 degree. With exhalation, bend your body towards the left side and place your left hand just beside the left foot. Stretch your right hand up, turn your neck and look at the gaze of middle finger of your right hand. Twist your neck and align your body. You can see here the body posture just like a triangle. That's why it's named a Trikonasana. Now slowly with inhalation come back, turn your left foot back, exhale, drop your hands down and feet close to each other. Close your eyes and relax yourself for a few seconds, feel the impact of Trikonasana. Again, we will repeat the same posture Trikonasana one more time. Spread your legs comfortably apart. Make sure your feet should be parallel. Inhale, raise your both arms. Now turn your right foot towards the right side. Turn your palms in front. With exhalation, bend your body towards the right side. Turn your head and look your middle finger of your left hand. Be there. Keep breathing normal. With inhalation, slowly come back in the center. Turn your right foot back. Repeat to the left side, left foot at 90. With exhalation, bend your body towards the left side and place your left hand beside the left foot. Stretch. In a final position, turn your neck and look at the gaze of middle finger of your right hand. Be there with normal breathing. Slowly with inhalation come back and relax your whole body in a Samasthiti. Bring your arms back, join your feet together, close your eyes and relax yourself. Trikonasana makes the spine flexible. It strengthens the calf, thighs and the waist muscles. Along this, it improves the lung capacity. Now we move towards the sitting posture. For the sitting posture, come in sitting. Keep your legs in front. Yesterday we have learned a position Vishram Asana. With the support of hands, completely relax the body, legs apart, drop your head back and be there for few seconds and prepare yourself for the sitting postures. Now we will practice Vajrasana. For the Vajrasana, join your feet together, place your palms beside your thighs. Now slowly bend your right knee and place your right foot beside the right buttock and similarly bend your left knee and place left foot under the left buttock. Make sure your big toes touching to each other. Now slowly place your palms over your knees. Keep your back straight. This is a Vajrasana position. From the Vajrasana position, we will move towards the Ardha Ushrasana. Gently open your eyes and stand on your knees. Now spread slightly knees and feet apart so that you can balance the body in Ardha Ushrasana. Those who are able to do without gap, they will perform without gap between your knees and feet. Now place your palms over your hip, fingers pointed downward. Now move your elbows backward and keep them parallel to each other. With inhalation, bend your head back and with exhalation, bend backward as much as possible. According to your own capacity, bend backward, feel the stretch in front of the chest region. In a final position, keep your elbows parallel to each other. Be there with the normal breathing. Now inhale, slowly come up. Exhale, come back to the starting position, Vajrasana, and relax there. Close your eyes, place your hands on your knees. Ardha Ushrasana is good practice for the neck and back problem. It increases the blood circulation to the head and the cardiac region. Now we will do the counter pose of Ardha Ushrasana is Shasak Asana. Gently open your eyes, spread your knees wide apart. Now place your palms between your knees. Inhale, stretch the back, and with exhalation bend forward with the help of your palms. Stretch completely. Try to place your forehead to the ground. Completely rest your whole back. Just observe you are relaxing your back after the practice of Ardha Ushrasana. In a final position of Shashakasana, try to keep your chin and chest to the ground if you can, otherwise you can maintain the position here. Be there and maintain the position with normal breathing. Inhale, slowly come up to the starting position, Vajrasana. With the support of your hands, join your knees together and relax in Vajrasana. Shashakasana helps to reduce stress and anxiety, and it relieves the constipation and improve digestion. It relieves the back pain as a counter pose of the Ardha Ushrasana and Ushrasana. Now we move towards the prone lying posture. From here, lie down on your abdomen. Stretch your whole body and lie down comfortably on your abdomen. Stretch your arms forward, forehead touch to the ground. Completely stretch your whole body first. Now first we will do the Makarasana. Makarasana is a starting position of prone lying posture. Now bend your elbows and place your palm above the palm. Turn your head either right or left side. Spread your legs by the side and keep your toes pointed outward. Close your eyes and relax yourself in Makarasana. This asana is practiced for the relaxation in all prone postures. It gives the calmness to the whole body. Now we will do the Saral Bhujangasana. Join your feet together. Stretch your arms forward. Completely stretch. Place your chin to the ground. Now bend your elbows and place your palms beside the body. With inhalation, raise your chin, shoulder and chest up. Keep your elbows to the ground and adjust your palms and elbows position and bend backward as much as possible. Maintain the final position of Saral Bhujangasana with normal breathing. Be there. Feel the compression in your lower back. In the final position, feet together. Now with exhalation, slowly come down and relax the whole body in Makarasana. This asana helps to relieve stress, reduce the abdominal fat and relieve constipation. It helps to relieve backache and it's good for the bronchial problems. Now we will do one more time, repeat the same posture, Saral Bhujangasana. Join your feet together, stretch your arms and then bend your elbows, place your palms beside the body. With inhalation, raise your chin, shoulder and chest up, adjust your arms and bend backward as much as possible. You can see here the alignment of the body from shoulder to elbow a straight line and elbow to palm a straight line. This time in this posture, you are balancing with your elbows. Slowly come back and again rest your body in Makarasana. Relax and feel the impact in your lumbosacral or lower back region and observe your breathing after the practice of Saral Bhujangasana. Today we will introduce another asana, Ek Pad Shalabhasana. Shalabh means a locust pose, in the final position of the body just like a locust. But here in today's session we will introduce a simplified version of Shalabh Asana, is Ek Pad Shalabh Asana. For this, join your feet together, place your hands beside the side of your body, palm facing downward, keep your chin to the ground. Now with inhalation, raise your right leg up as much as you can. In a final position, keep your knees straight. Maintain here with normal breathing. Feel the pressure in your lower back. Now slowly come back and we will repeat from the other side. Inhale, raise your left leg up without bending from the knees. Be there. Now slowly come back. We will do one more time. This time we will do with some variation. Those who are not able to place their hands beside the body, they can place their palms under the thigh region. This time you will keep your palms towards your thighs. But in a final position, you will not raise your chin up. Inhale, slowly raise your right leg up, keep your knee straight, stretch your leg and be there with normal breathing. Keep your shoulder, chin relaxed. It is a backward bending asana. Slowly come down. Now repeat to the left side. Inhale, raise your left leg up without bending from the knee. Again, maintain for few seconds. Slowly come back and relax your whole body in Makarasana. Spread your legs, bend your elbows, rest your cheek on your palms, close your eyes and feel the impact of Ek Pad Shalabh Asana. This asana is very good for management of sciatica pain as well as the lower back pain. It strengthens the abdominal organs. Now we will move towards a supine line posture. Slowly stretch your right hand up and turn towards the right side and come back to the back line position. Completely relax your whole body on your back, legs slightly apart, hands apart. Completely rest your body. Now we will do Pavan Muktasana. Join your feet together and place your hands beside the thighs, palm facing downward. Inhale, raise your both legs up to the 90 degree. Now with exhalation, bend your knees and press them towards your chest. Interlock your fingers and clasp the shin region and press your knees as much as you can towards your chest. Inhale deeply first, and with exhalation raise your head up. Try to touch your chin or nose in between your knees. Maintain the final position of Pavan Muktasana with normal breathing. Try to keep your shoulder relaxed, toes relaxed. In the final position, you are pressing abdominal region with your knees and thighs. Now slowly drop your head down with inhalation. Release the interlocked fingers, relax your hands by the side. Stretch your legs up at 90 degree. With exhalation, drop your legs down and relax yourself and feel the impact of Pavan Muktasana. This is very good for the back. It gives the strength to the abdominal organs as well as the lower back muscles and the ligament. Now we will do Shavasana. For the Shavasana, once we will stretch whole the body. Once again, join your feet together. With inhale, stretch your arms over your head. Stretch completely. Now press your toes towards the ground. Completely stretch the body with inhalation, and with exhalation relax. Relax the stretching of your toes and fingers. Once again with inhalation, stretch completely without lifting your lower back. Exhale, relax. One last time, stretch with inhalation, and with exhalation bring your arms back by the side of your thighs. Now legs spread out, keep your toes relaxed, keep your hands slightly far from the body, palm facing upward, keep your neck in center and completely surrender body weight towards the ground. Completely rest the body and practicing for Shavasana. Relax, hold the body consciously. Become aware of your normal breathing. Allow it to become slow, deep, with your consciousness. In a Shavasana position, observe the abdominal movement with breathing. Feel the expansion during inhalation. Feel the relaxation during exhalation. Shavasana helps to relieve all kind of tension from the body and mind. It helps to relax the whole psychophysiological system. It is good for the management of the stress and its consequences. Now we will move towards the breathing practices. So, once again move awareness on your body parts. Slowly stretch your right hand up and turn towards the right side. Stretch your right hand and turn towards the right side. Take the support of your left hand, come back to the sitting position. Sit comfortably in any posture. Ardha Padmasana, Sukhasana, Vajrasana, in which you feel comfortable. Sit for the practice of deep breathing. If you are not feeling comfortable in a sitting posture to the ground, you can sit on the chair. Now keep your back straight, keep your shoulder relaxed and adopt Jnana Mudra with both palms. Keep your eyes closed and observe the natural flow of your breathing. Slowly, slowly change your breathing into deep breathing. Feel the expansion of your abdomen, chest up to the throat, and during exhalation relax in a reverse manner. Yogic deep breathing is a combination of abdominal, thoracic and clavicular breathing, where we feel complete expansion of the lungs region during inhalation and relaxation during exhalation. Just keep continuing 3 to 4 more rounds of deep breathing. Make sure your breathing should be deep and rhythmic. Keep your whole awareness with your inhalation and exhalation. Now we will do the next practice, Anulom Vilom Pranayam. Once again observe your sitting position, keep your back straight, neck straight, keep your left hand in a Jnana Mudra and adopt Pranayam Mudra to the right hand. Now place this Pranayam Mudra close to the nostril region. First completely exhale through the both nostril. Now close your right nostril and inhale deeply through the left nostril. Exhale through the right. Again inhale through the right completely. And with closing the right nostril, exhale through the left. This is a one round of Nadi Shodhan or Anulom Vilom Pranayam. Continue 5 more rounds of Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. According to your own pace, try to make your breathing deep and rhythmic, and try to maintain the ratio of your inhalation and exhalation. This practice, alternate nostril breathing, induces a tranquility and helps to improve concentration. It channelizes both the nostril, increase the vitality, and it helps to reduce the stress and anxiety. In this practice, in this pranayam, we are inhaling from one nostril and exhaling to the another one. With the regulate breath. Now, after complete the 5 round of Anulom Vilom, relax your right hand down. Place your right hand in a Jnana Mudra over your right knee. Just maintain yourself. Now we move towards Dhyan. Once again, observe your body. Keep your spine erect. Slightly turn your chin up. Adopt Dhyana Mudra in your lap. Place your palm above the palm, palm facing upward. And be there, maintain with the physical body here for the practice of Dhyana. Keep your arms and shoulder relaxed and loose. Just to be concentrate on your breathing, natural flow of your breathing. After the practice of pranayam, it becomes deep, slow and rhythmic. Just mild focus in between your eyebrow center and be conscious about your breath. Try to dissolve your all thoughts and try to attain a single and pure thought. We are practicing dharana, which move towards to dhyan spontaneously. Meditation is an important part of yoga sadhana. Without it, yoga sadhana is incomplete. It helps to elevate anger, fear, depression, anxiety, all the negative emotions from the mind, and it generates to the positive emotions, positive energy in our body and mind. Meditation keeps the mind quiet and calm. Now it's time to make a sankalp in your mind. It's related to humanity. I commit myself to remain in balanced state of mind all the time. I commit to do my duty to the self, family, at work, society, to the world, for the promotion of peace, health and harmony. Now slowly join your palms together in Namaskar Mudra. We will conclude the session here with Shanti Path. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Place your palms on your eyes. Feel the warmness and the darkness of your palms. Now gently remove your palms, open your eyes. Thank you very much. Namaskar, welcome all of you in CYP Yoga Training course. Let us start the today's session with prayer. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Once again, welcome all of you, lecture series CYP Introduction Program. Today's lecture on Yogasana, Introduction, Principle and Salient Feature. Before we start about Yogasana, we will discuss little bit on yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is a union of body, mind and soul. Human beings are made up mainly the three main components, that is body, mind and soul. When in order to satisfy it, we need all these three: knowledge, health and inner peace respectively. Knowledge for the mind, health for the body and inner peace for the soul. So we can say yoga is play important role to fulfill all these components. In today's topic is about Yogasana. So we can say yoga is an art that consists of many asanas. We are saying yogasanas just because in yoga it include with the physical posture, involvement of the body, breath and mind while we are performing any practice, postural. So here we will discuss a simple what is the meaning of asana. Normally asana is known as a place where we sit. We can say a blanket, a square piece of cloth, carpet. If we are using a mat, it is a place where we can sit comfortably. That is a asana. But if we talk about traditionally asana means a sitting condition, a posture of the body which contribute to the steadiness of the body and mind and the sense of well-being. That is the main important term of the asana. where we sit comfortably with the body postures without any movement, that become a yogasana in yoga. Now we will discuss the etymology. What is come from the asana? Asana come from a Sanskrit root is as. As means to sit. Asana means a state of being in which one can remain physically and mentally steady, calm, quiet and comfortable for a long time. This is a particular position of the body where we can sit for a long time without any body movement. Now we will discuss the purpose of yogasana. The main important purpose of yogasana is to train our body for the further practice. If we talk about yoga, there is a tradition where we are practices some Shat Karmas practices, then practices of asana, then we move towards the pranayam, higher practice. So the purpose of yogasana, we can say, we are train our body and mind for the higher practices of yoga like pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan and so on, to achieve a final goal of yoga. Other than the purpose of yogasana, there are some other benefits of asana, that are, it promotes and maintain the perfect health. If we are doing asana, then we are working on the body and mind together. So we can say we are improving our health by the practicing of asana. Other than, we can re-establish a harmonious function of the body and mind. For example, if we are performing any asana, we are taking here a Vrikshasana. Performing during the Vrikshasana, we have to maintain, concentrate at one point while we performing Vrikshasana, just because it is a balancing posture. There is a neuromuscular coordination, means our body and mind coordination is there. So we can say is bring the harmony function between the body and mind. Asanas helps to reduce the stress, strain and tension, basically which is arises from the external environment, external interactions with anyone. We get easily disturbed when somebody says something, then asanas will help to reduce the stress. Now we will talk about some classical text on yogasana, such as Patanjali Yoga Sutra given by Maharishi Patanjali and other Hatha Yogic texts like Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Ghiran Samhita and in Bhagavad Gita. They bring the significance on the principle and the practice of proper methodology of the technique of one asana. If we talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Maharishi Patanjali, he doesn't mention any asana's name there. He just give a simple sutra for asana, that is definition of asana, Sthir Sukham Asana. What is the meaning of the Sthir Sukham Asana? It is defined in above sutras that any posture of the body in which could be maintained steadily for a long and adequate time. We can say it called as asana. And another text, if we talk about Hatha Yoga Pratipika, in Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Swami Swatmarand ji says that Kuryat Tadasanam Stharyam Arogyam Chai Ang Lagvam. He described asana is on first important stage of the practice. If we are going to start Hatha Yoga practices, according to Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Swamiji explained you have to be train your body first through the practice of asana. Asana is very important step. After that you can move towards the higher practices. Same as about in a Ghiran Samhita. In Ghiran Samhita, Ghiran Rishi explained the Sapta Sadhan. Here he explained asanas is on second stage, just because he explained first if you want to do the practice of asana, you have to be first purify your body due to the practice of Shat Karmas. So after the practice of cleansing, one can move towards the asana, and after the perfection in asana, one can move towards the higher practices of yoga. Now we will take one by one. In Hatha Yoga Pradipika, we are saying Kuryat Tadasanam Staryam Arogyam Cha Ang Lagvam. That is a, we can say, is the motive of asanas. Why we are doing asanas? Hatha Yoga Pradipika explain this. Kuryat Tadasanam means if we are doing the asana, that through the practice of asana, we are getting staryam, stability. Arogyam is a health. It's not only the disease free body, it's a complete health, combination of physical, mental, social, spiritual, all level, all state of body. We can a complete health through the practice of asanas. Along this health, cha ang lagvam means the lightness. We get a lightness in our body. After getting these three things, one is stability, health and lightness in the body and mind, we proceed to higher practices of yoga. In Ghirin Samhita, we have already told about the sub-sadhan. These are, what are these sub-sadhan? Is the Shodhan, Shat Karmas, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Mudra Bandh, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Asan is on the second stage. It gives Asnen Bhave Dridham. Ghirin Rishi explained in a shloka, Asnen Bhave Dridham means Asan gives the power, dridhta, steadiness. After the practice, if we are performing any asanas, so it gives the strength by the practicing of asanas. Maharishi Patanjali ji explained in his sutras, no mention any asana. It's simple sutras about yogasana. Only 3 sutras are mentioned. The one was the Sirsukam Asanam. The second is explain the methodology. What is this? That basically the second sutras, Maharishi Patanjali explain the methodology of the yogasana. What was that, Neetu? Sorry. In second sutra of Maharishi Patanjali explain the methodology of asana, that is Pratin Shatilya Anant Samapatti Bhyam. If you are doing a practices regularly, if you are doing practice asana any posture, then you are putting your pressure there. So you have to be focused on that. Your effort should be reached up to the effortless situation. That is a methodology according to Maharishi Patanjali ji. He explained, and after that you will get a benefit. Tato dvanda anibhikata means we free from the duality. Duality is the opposite of pair of opposite, like what is good, what is bad, that is right, that is wrong. There is a duality in between where we are confused to choose a one thing. That is a duality. So after the practice of yogasana, according to Yoga Sutra, we can get rid of this duality. Now we will talk about some guidelines. What are these guidelines while we are performing the yogasana? First guideline is force or pressure should not be used and your body should not tremor. Means everybody has their own tendency and capacity to perform any asana. If you are performing any asana, then you will not apply a force. If your body not allowed to do the limit, then you have to do according to your limit. Force should not be there. Second guideline is that don't practice yogasana beyond your capacity. If you feel you are doing that much bending through the practice, like in a today's session we have learned about Trikonasana. We taught you 2 practices, even 3 practices, 2 simplified version and modified version of Trikonasana, and one is a final posture. If you feel you are not able to perform the final posture, you can do the simplified version and your capacity, your body allowed to bend that much, then hold the position and be there feel the stretching, make yourself comfortable, and then next stage you can try more. Next guidelines is always we have to be start. If we are going to start the practices, we have to start with the easy version rather than the complex version. You can see in the slide there is a two pictures, one is the Vakrasana and second is the Ardha Matsyendrasana. Vakrasana is a easy step of Ardha Matsyendrasana. Even Ardha Matsyendrasana is also a simpler step of the Matsyendrasana. Just because Matsyendrasana is very complicated asana, nobody can perform easily, that is why persons perform and adopt the Ardha Matsyendrasana. But nowadays we are facing a sedentary lifestyle. Just because of sedentary lifestyle, we cannot perform a Ardha Matsyendrasana easily. So before we start this practice of Ardha Matsyendrasana, we have to try with the Vakrasana position. Next, practice of yogic Sukshma Vyayam also facilitate asana. In the last lecture, we have discussed about yogic Sukshma Vyayam or the loosening practices. These practices help to facilitate the body movement, we can say. Increase the microcirculation throughout the body. Body can easily move and proceed the practice of asana. So, if we are going to start yogasana practices, even you can see in our protocol, common yoga protocol 45 minutes, first we have introduced loosening practices and then we move towards the yogasana. So, if we are starting our protocol on protocol, so we have to start with the some loosening joint movement. Next guideline, the breathing should be normal. If the body is stressed, perform Shavasana. Means if we are performing asanas, practicing of asana, then that time we will not hold our breath. Just because if we are holding our breath, that time we are make a stress in our body. We are not comfortable. We are creating a pressure in our body. That's why in the first guideline we are saying don't create a force in your body. You have to keep your breathing normal throughout the practice. If you are doing either forward bending or backward bending, it's a simpler things. If we are going backward, it's automatically our breathing goes stop, retain. That time we have to be practice that much there where we can make our breathing normal. Just because it's very important things in practice of yogasana. So if you feel during the practice uneasiness, if we are practicing some in a rhythm and you feel tired, then you can take a Shavasana and Yoga Nidra and relaxation between the practice, and after that you can start the practices. Now we move towards the classification of asana. It is, we are classified in a different types. First classification based on the purpose and the utility. Asanas are broadly classified as a meditative asana, cultural asana and the relaxation asana. The asanas covered the each group are given under just like meditative posture. Specifically meditative asanas are aimed to providing concentration, stability, peace, calmness of the mind and body. In this group the asanas consist of poses in which one can sit for a long time for the specific only for the meditation like Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, Sukhasana, Vajrasana, Siddhasana. There are so many asanas which are comes in this group. Second asana are cultural or we can say corrective asana. In this group of asana mainly work on the joints, ligaments and muscles. It's a specifically workable area your body part. If we are doing a forward bending like Padhastasana, in a Padhastasana position we are bending forward. In this position we work on the lumbosacral region, we can say pelvic joint. That whole pressure should comes in that region, and while we are going backward during the practice of Ardha Chakrasana, their whole pressure should comes in the abdominal and again the lower lumbosacral region. So we can say the cultural asanas work on mainly the vertebral column. Another movement of the body is Kati Chakrasana, again the twisting from your lumbosacral region and again work on the vertebral column. This asanas group We can say Padhastasana, Ardha Chakrasana, Kati Chakrasana, Vrikshasana, sitting position Ushtrasana, Shashak, all are comes in the cultural asanas. Third classification is the relaxative posture or asana. In this asana, bring the steadiness, lightness and calmness, completely relaxation and re-energize of the body and mind. Under this group, some asanas comes like Shavasana on the supine line posture, Makarasana. While we are performing prone line posture, Makarasana is a relaxative posture, and if we are doing a sitting asanas, sitting posture, that time Vishram Asana is a relaxative posture. Next is the classification based on the physical body position. You can see here they are categorized in a different term. One is a standing posture. In a common yoga protocol, we define these series: standing, sitting, prone line and supine line. It's based on the 6 standing asanas: sitting, prone, supine, topsy-turvy and balance. 2 more classification added here is topsy-turvy and balancing posture. First is the standing asanas. Standing asanas, Tadasana, Vrikshasana, Trikonasana, these are all standing asanas, work on the stability of the body. We can stand for a long time while practicing the standing asanas. Second is the sitting asana. Sitting asanas basically work on the pelvic region. It gives the strengthen the pelvic bone, like as Ushtrasana, Shashakasana, Bhadrasana, Vajrasana. These are the standing asanas, Uttan Mandukasana. Now we talk about the prone line position. Prone line is basically lie down on our abdomen. Well, we whole relax the body on the abdominal line, so that time if we are doing any practice in prone line posture, for example Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana, Dhanurasana, all work on the abdominal pressure along with the lower back. So that time if we are practicing prone line series, we are increasing the lung capacity, just because while we are bending backward, all the asanas are the backward bending, we are increasing the lung capacity and whole pressure come on our abdominal region, to strengthen the abdominal organs also. Now supine line posture. Supine line, while we are performing asanas on the back. In this classification, asanas include Setu Bandhasana, Uttan Padasana, Ardhalasana, Pavan Muktasana and Shavasana. Topsy, now we talk about the topsy-turvy. Topsy-turvy, when we inverted the body postures like Shirshasana, Sarvangasana, Vipreet Karniyasana, where we reverse the blood flow towards our heart and upper head region. Next and the last is the balancing asana. Balancing, where we feel the balance the body at one leg and both leg, Tadasana, Vrikshasana, and we can say another one Garudasana. These are the balancing asanas. According to Maharshi Patanjali, 2 very short but important sutra we have already discussed about the principle and methodology. First, we will discuss about Pratan Shatilya Anant Samapatti Bhyam. In this sutra, he tell us about the proper technique when we are doing effort. Effortlessness or the relaxation of effort is the first principle of the asana. If we can maintain, and the maintenance of the asanas would make the mind free from the merging with the infinity. This is, we can count in the principle, and we can say basically correct methodology of the yogasana. Now you can see here the another classification of asana is the movement of your body. You are doing a forward bend or backward, side twisting, side bending, turning, up stretching movement. The 5 major movement of the body. One, we will start with the up stretch. You can see here Uttan Mandukasana, where we are stretching our spine in upward movement without any movement in your spine for either forward or backward. You can see here we are stretching our spine completely upward. The second movement is a forward bending, from where we bend forward from the lower pelvic regions and completely rest the spine on the pelvic region And the third one is the backward bending movement, where we bend from the again lumbosacral region. Whole pressures comes in our that lower back. We can say the fourth one movement is twisting posture. The center asana is Ardha Matsyendrasana or Vakrasana even in yoga, common yoga protocol, that is twisting the body posture. Here the twisting from the again lumbosacral. All the movements are covering are the spinal column. Either we are doing the forward, backward, up stretch and the twisting, and the last body movement is a side bending. In again side bending, we are dropping the body by the side and then again spine work by the side of the lumbosacral region. Now next we will talk about the yoga principle. The main important principle of yogasana, that is stability. In Maharishi Patanjali explained in his Yoga Sutra, Sthir Sukham Asanam. The stability is very important. Asana must be stable. Stable in what case? Your body should be stable without any movement if you are performing for a long time. Second principle, that is comfortability, means comfortably related to the mind. Asana must be comfortable while we are performing. If we are comfortable in through the body posture, we are stable at one point, but our mind is not there, then we cannot say we are following the principle of yogasana. The third is effortless. After the prolonged practices of asana, we have become effortlessness. That is why we say we have to be practiced on the regular basis. If you start yoga, either you are starting from the loosening practices, you have to keep your practices on the regular basis. That after that you will get a perfect result. You have to achieve the effortless position. Why? Just because if when we are start to learn any posture of the body, then we are creating a pressure, we are producing a force in our body to achieve the final stage of the asana. So we have to reduce, we have to end this effort by the regular practices. So third principle is the effortlessness, and the fourth principle, merging with infinite, means once you bring the effortlessness, if you achieve the level of effortlessness, then you can merge with yourself. When we are practicing, our body is stable, our mind is comfortable, and then we are release the pressure and we release the effort, then we can connect what is the perfect essence of this practice. Basically any asanas we are doing, these are the common principle of yogasana. Then we have to be merged with the infinite, and the last we have already told about the free from the duality. Maharishi Patanjali ji explained in his sutras completely tato dvanda nibhighata, means free from the duality. If we are doing with a proper methodology, we are following the rules, we are following the principle, then we can achieve the free from the duality. We are free from the opposites, like what is right, what is wrong, that is good, that is bad. We are free from that kind of confliction. Now we move the salient feature of yogasana. There are the 6 salient features. First, samastiti, we call as a starting point. If we are going to start any practice, you have seen even in our practical session, we always start yogasana practices with the starting position. We always says that stand straight, hands by the side, samastiti. Samastiti is a starting position of all standing asana. Either we are doing Tadasana, Vrikshasana, Padhastasana, we have to be focused on our starting position. It is very important, just because that time we are ready to body and mind for the practice of any asana. Same as if you talk about Vishramasana. Vishramasana is a starting position of the all sitting asanas. Makarasana is a starting position of all prawn line position, and Shavasana we can include a starting position, enter into the supine line. Next is Vinyasa. What is Vinyasa? Vinyasa is the steps of asana. if we are practicing, then we cannot achieve the asana immediately. We have to follow the steps of each and every asanas. Either we are adopting the final stage, same as it's very important when we come back from the asana. While we are going step by step, we have to follow the same sequence in a reverse manner while come back to the starting position. That's why we are saying vinyas is very important. Perform asanas. The movement and the to perform, then release the tension. If we moving our body backward, that time we are create a maximum compression in our lower back and stretching in our front region. While we are coming back, we have to be moved slowly, not jerk. If you are giving a jerk, then definitely it will get hurt to us. Okay? So, vinyas is very important part of the practices of yogasana. Third salient feature is Shwas Kram, breathing pattern. It is very important, we can say each step should be coordinate with the breathing. A simple formula, why we are lifting one thing from ground to up, we need energy, right? We have to apply a force to take up the things from ground to up. So, we need energy and apply the force. That force we have to with inhalation. And while we are moving towards the ground, so we need not energy. If we drop a thing, then immediately due to the gravitational force, it comes without any force. Then that time our body is exhaling. So, you have to be focus your body while you performing asanas. While your body is moving forward, that time always go with the exhalation. After you reach the final position, then you keep your breathing normal. But while you are going and giving a movement to your body, you have to be focused on Shwas Kram. Next is a vision, Drishti. Drishti again is very important. While moving towards the final position, learn to use your body part selectively. Vision means try to concentrate only those part. Each asanas mainly focus on a particular area. So, Drishti is at that point we can focus on a particular selective area. We have to focus, okay, we are doing twisting, that time our lumbosacral region is more effective. Other body part that time should be comfortable without any tension. We can say that is effortless position should be there, and the whole pressure energy movement should become on that particular area. That is a vision or drishti should come on a particular pose. Position is a sthiti. Once you reach the final stage, there is a position. If we are saying that is your final position, so you have to be maintained. You have to hold the position with the normal breathing, Shwaskaram. Now here mention the Shwaskaram also. If you are going with the movement, that you can follow the breathing. After you reach in a final position, you have to keep your breathing normal and maintain. You have to be hold the position sthiti for a time. Avoid the holding the breath, and any stage of the practice, it may be increase the tension of the body. If we are holding, that time we are increasing the tension and force in our body. That is why we are saying do not hold your breath, just be and calm with the normal breathing. And the last is Vishranti, that is very important, relaxation. While we achieve the final position, any posture, take one posture like Shashakasana or Ushrasana. While going backward, in a final position we have reached, then we have to be hold this position for a time. But in a final position, you have to be relax yourself, that is Vishranti, relaxation. These all points we have to be focused in a one posture. We have to be follow the starting position, steps, breathing and the vision, position of the final posture and the relaxation in this final position. We have to be hold with ease, without any tension, without any force we are creating in a final position. We are required a particular area. That is why we are saying again and again we have to be focused on a particular reason. That is a particular reason of this asana. We have to be focused on that point and try to relax other body parts. Just because we are in Vishranti, in a relaxation state, that time we can merge, we can connect with the ultimate aim of the Yogasana. Aim of Yogasana is not only that we perform and come back. We have to be merged with this, what are we doing? To hold the position and try to make yourself relax there. All the activity for the inner being. So, we will conclude the session here with the Yogasanas, introduction, principle and the salient features. Next time when you will practice any posture, try to keep your all things, all salient features and the principle in your mind and do your practice. Thank you very much. We will conclude here. Sham